So since 2019, I've been struggling with my chipping, and I think I officially have the yips. And it all happened in Atlanta. I was down at Course and Stone Mountain, and the grass was very thin and muddy, and I chili dipped a couple of those. And for 4 years now, I've been struggling with my chipping. It used to be the best part of my game. Now it's the worst part of my game. But there are some things that seem to work. It's not really my technique. Everybody says it's your technique. It's not the technique, because I can hit the ball fine if I'm not looking at the ball. So if I'm either have my eyes closed or looking at the target, the technique is perfect. And my practice swings are fine. But sometimes when I get in front of the ball, maybe it's a poor lie or something, I get jerky with it. So it's not the lack of knowing the technique, it's just the lack of executing it. And that happens sometimes. These hickory clubs make it worse. There's no bounce on it, so you can't get away with hitting behind the ball at all. So I'll teach you a couple things that I've learned if you're suffering from this that seem to work. They might seem a little crazy. I haven't seen anywhere on YouTube or anywhere one of these techniques. It works for me very well. The other technique I saw Dustin Johnson using, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, here's my practice swing just to show that my mind isn't executing. I can actually do the swing fine. Depends if you want to release it. Some people chicken wing it like Phil, or some people release it. I can do all that. It's just when I get a ball in front of me, I can't do that. So here's a technique that I came up with. I haven't seen it before, and that is to hover the club just above the ball. And what that does, for me at least, is it enforces that the low point will be ahead of the ball. And it frees up my swing a little bit. Rather than being ball oriented, I'm just kind of thinking of getting the bottom of the arc in front of the ball and let the ball get in the way. That's kind of what you should think normally, but my mind can't do it when the club is back here sometimes. Now, as the round progresses, my confidence usually improves, and I feel like I can just put the club in the normal address position as needed. Now, this works for chips. You can actually use it for short pitches as well, and I guess full swings. I haven't tried it on a full swing. I don't need it for that because I'm not hitting behind the ball. When my weight is moving through it, I don't have that problem as much. So try to get very little shaft lean, just a little bit. Club hovering. Think. So that's it. I just skim the grass. It frees me up. That works. So I'm going to use that more often in the beginning of a round as needed. And if I'm really desperate, I'm going to close my eyes or look at the target. And that seems to work pretty well. Slow-mo here. Still not as smooth as my practice swing. I'm doing something funny with my knee there, but better than a yip. Okay, here's the other technique that I've been using. It's from Dustin Johnson, and it's basically just rotating your lower body towards the target. What that does is it frees up your shoulder, and so all I'm thinking of is hinging with my shoulder. If my club does anything else, that's fine. I mean, I'm just focusing on my left shoulder, just kind of swinging back and forth, and if my body moves, it moves. I'm not thinking about it, just does what it wants to do. But for me, it just kind of frees up my mind a little bit. So rotate the feet towards the target, and my upper body rotates so I can get to the ball. So my feet are pointed right at the target. So I'm kind of twisting with my upper body, and I'm just thinking left shoulder hinging. Whatever else happens, happens. I got it lined up. Normally, I'm not hovering this time. If I'm really in trouble, I could do both. Oh. So that works for me pretty well. So I have those two things now that I can work on. Sometimes I don't use it. I kind of get embarrassed because it's kind of weird looking. It's just unorthodox, but hopefully my thought is, if I can free myself up and know that I can chip pretty well with these two techniques, and I have these as go-to techniques, then maybe my regular old-fashioned chipping technique will come back. Now here's another technique. It's just the putt chip. Hit it just like a putt, and that works sometimes pretty well. Kevin Na style there, I guess.